Here's the cover. Can he do it? Kick out at 2.
You are wrestling fans, and we are the degenerates. I'd like to talk about it. This is Kicking Out at 2. I am Michael. With me, as always, is Tori. Hey, Tori.
Hello.
Today, we are going to talk about Monday Night Raw. We are in Boston, Massachusetts. Wonderful guest coming home to Boston. How do you feel about John Cena coming?
I've never been a big Cena fan in the ring. Personally, I have all the respect in the world for him. All the stuff he's done with like Make-A-Wish and so on, warms my soul. But in the ring, on the mic, give me that all day. Give me Cena with a microphone in his hand all day long. I don't care if he sits at ringside and commentaries the whole fucking show. Give that man a microphone.
So you're fine with what happened tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Before that happens, though, let's go ahead and just get with the basic start of the show here. We start off, Paul Heyman, Jimmy Uso, and Solo Sikoa are shown arriving at the TD Garden earlier in that day. There's basically just a little talk to Jimmy of like, hey, we close this out tonight. We got Solo's going to take care of the KO problem, and you need to take care of the Sami problem that needs to happen tonight. Whether Jay's there or not, you need to take care of that. So Kevin Patrick announced a sold-out crowd in Boston, which does not surprise me at all. John Cena coming home. The main event for the night being Jimmy versus Zayn. Yeah. So we start off the night though with Kevin Owens versus Solo Sikoa. I think you're with me here. Pretty sure I knew how this was going to end. We're not going to beat Solo Sikoa, but we're also not going to let KO look weak either. So
was that Solo's first loss? Because he was disqualified.
Right. So it was his first loss, to my knowledge. I haven't researched that, but to my knowledge, that's his first loss in the main roster. I think he's had some losses in NXT. That was his first loss on the main roster, but it was disqualification. So we can pawn that off and say I've never lost.
It's a loss that made perfect sense.
Absolutely. It made perfect sense of the way they did that. We're towards the end of the match. Solo Sikoa is about to hit the Samoan drop, but Owens dodged a corner splash and hit a DDT. Sikoa blocked a stunner before Owens knocked Jimmy off the apron. The distraction didn't help because Owens hit Sikoa with a kick, a cannonball, and a senton bomb. Owens made the cover, but Jimmy then attacked him, causing the DQ. So obviously at this point, yeah, Kevin Owens won the match. However, he's getting a beat down because of it. Now we start hearing and seeing crowd noise and crowd chatter going on. Sure, we all knew what was going to happen. Out comes Samizayn sprinting out to help his buddy. He grabbed a chair, but the bloodline bailed at that point. He goes down to give a hand to Owens, and Owens just rolls out the ring, walks away.
The way they're building this, I can't, like that moment when hug, handshake, whatever it is happens, it's going to be so good.
Yeah.
Like this storyline from the start of the bloodline to now is the best written storyline in wrestling history.
Absolutely. I've said to a couple of people I've talked to, and I think I said it to you. I've said it to a couple other people I've talked about it. Like what happens tonight, and we'll get to that later. What happens tonight is Shakespeare.
Yeah,
it's absolutely it's amazing writing. The intrigue in it, the dastardly deeds in it, backstabbing, all of this stuff, the brotherhood, just absolute perfect storytelling. I will say there's little things that happen tonight that worried about between now and WrestleMania. I'll get to those thoughts here in a minute, because we haven't talked about it, so I don't know if you know the moments I'm talking about. But So I just clicked in my head. We did not do SmackDown. The reason I know this is because we didn't talk about this segment because they replayed Bobby Lashley, his encounter with Uncle Howdy. Basically, was he
You're
came to
right,
the
we
ring,
didn't.
Uncle Howdy came to
Son
the
of a
ring, and he
bitch.
beat the
How did we
shit
not?
out of Uncle Howdy.
We did news.
We did do news.
Okay.
That's okay. I don't remember a lot from SmackDown.
I don't either.
I don't think there was a lot from SmackDown, to be honest. So we're good. We'll keep going. Lashley cut a promo though. In the back, he was saying he was tired of playing Bray Wyatt's kid games. While he's doing his talk, though, you got the Bray Wyatt symbol just blinking in the background. Nothing much to do. Nothing much to say on this one. Just Bobby Lashley saying he's tired of playing games and little spooky.
They're gonna have to. I think this goes back to my original complaint with Bray. Do something. Because again, we're fucking around. I understand we have 6 weeks till Mania. I get that. We're still fucking around.
The thing that gets me about it is you build up this thing, and we still don't know a lot about what Uncle Howdy is and what that whole thing is. But you let Bobby Lashley just beat that man with an inch of his life.
I was gonna say he mollywopped that dude. Like he beat him like he stole something. I felt bad for
I
Bo Dallas too, taking that beating.
That's right. That's right. I believe he got his ass beat. Um,
That was a good one.
but no, I agree with you. Like, gotta get off the pot. We got to do something here because this whole story is getting muddled. It's getting long. It's getting drawn out, and I'm not caring.
When they
I
brought
want
him
to
in
care.
the first time, the original Wyatt family, those vignettes, first of all, were fucking fire. It drew me in from the word go. I was here for it. And then Harper showed up. And then Rowan showed up. And it kept going. The whole storyline just kept rolling. And he started talking about Sister Abigail. And we're all like, who the fuck is that? And then Braun Strowman showed up. And we're like, cool. And then they split everybody off. And he kind of disappeared. And he came back as the Fiend. I wasn't a big fan of the Funhouse. I will own that. I wasn't that big of a fan of it. I think the first time it came on, I was like, what the fuck is this? I'm pretty sure we talked about this numerous times.
We did.
But
I enjoyed it. To me, yeah. To me, like it reminded me a lot of comic books because you had Bray Wyatt, which was the exact opposite of the Fiend. So it was a dichotomy of a character opposing each other. I enjoyed that little Jekyll and Hyde, little
yeah,
Hulk banner type of thing.
and I'm good with this. But what they're doing now, since you've brought him back, he has wrestled a total of 2 matches.
Yep.
In what, 6 months? What are you, Goldberg?
No, he didn't drop anybody on his head.
That's fair. I just, you brought him back, you did all this build up, everybody went ape shit when he showed up, and to me, you've done nothing.
I agree, and to me, it's the start and stop of it.
Yeah,
Because like we started something with Alexa, and then that stopped. We're not seeing it. He started the thing with LA Knight, and that just kind of abruptly ended with one. Starting this thing now with Bobby or with Lesnar, or going on with Bobby now. But in the midst of all that, you were bringing in characters and real life embodiments of the Funhouse characters, and that just kind of stopped. And you had this issue where Uncle Howdy was kind of pulling the strings, and Bray didn't know what he was doing, and that ended in one match. You have one match, and all of a sudden they're best buddies and having conversations in the ring together. Stopping. Just keep going. Finish something.
This happening makes me wonder if Vince is having more say than we realize. Vince didn't understand the Bray Wyatt character. He didn't like it. He was not a fan of it. I hate to say it, it was too smart for Vince, because Wyndham Rotunda is such an intelligent guy,
Is
and
I
it concerns me that that's part of the problem here. Is that Vince has hopefully it's just his fingers, not anything else in it. I mean, it's been in everybody else.
Bray signed an NDA.
Probably, as long as he gets paid. He'll get his stuff in a trash
Anytime,
bag. He'll get his stuff in a trash
as,
bag, though.
yeah, as many times he's been fucked.
Yeah, but that's what I just this. What are we doing?
So I hope that that's not the case. I don't think that's the case because if you look at the rest of the show, the rest of the show is cohesive. It's just this thing. There's something with
So
this that's
weird.
just not happening. I do wonder if because Paul seems to be a little more laid back and kind of letting guys do their own thing. For a lot of like scripting promos is a lot less. Obviously, changing scripts last minute hasn't been a thing. In fact, actually, I think it was SmackDown 2 weeks ago. Like they had that show ready a month in it. So
Seriously.
yeah, so like they actually like are being able to tell some
Yeah.
stories,
Well,
write their own
and
stories. I wonder if that's part of the problem because there has been like people have obviously said that Bray that Wyndham is intelligent, he's a great mind for the business, but I have heard some people say also he's very kind of like Vince Russo. Like, yeah, he has a lot of great ideas.
he needs
Not
direction.
all of them are great. That direction, that funnel, say, okay, that's good, that's not, that's good, that's not. And I wonder if he's just letting him go free reign. And so he's just like, all right, let's do this and this and this.
That's possible, and that may be the. I don't know. I don't care. That's I was so pumped when he came back. I don't care. In 6 months, you've made me not care because you haven't done shit.
You've turned a massive impact into art.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I don't care.
Like that match.
I want you to finish something.
That match at WrestleMania is 100% an I got to take a poop or a food match. One of the two.
I agree, and I hope we're wrong. I
hope so
hope they
too.
blow it out.
I hope
I hope they blow it out.
down. But
I
have
hope we
such
get
low expectations.
I hope we get Uncle Harper come in and attack Bray or like give me something. Give me another step in the other direction.
Uncle Howdy.
Got no Uncle Harper because remember they also trademarked that one. So like give us something. Give us another step in the direction of getting this fleshed out. Because so far it's just Bray who was having problems keeping his anger under check and not being that old person. And Howdy was trying to point him in the direction of being that person. Now all of a sudden he's still not that person, but now Howdy's okay with it, and now they're buddy, and Alexa's gone. So, like,
unless
let's flesh out this character.
I wonder if they're not going to use WrestleMania as that big stage to do some of this.
Maybe,
but you're going to have to give us something beforehand, or by the time it gets here, we're not going to care because we don't care right now.
So then we are backstage. Byron Saxton is interviewing Carmella. She planned on embarrassing Bianca Belair tonight and deserved to be added to the WrestleMania match. Now, I talked about this, and that actually is not a bad idea.
It's not.
I'm pretty okay with this. So Chelsea Green showed up out of nowhere. She just kind of materialized. And she was agreeing with that idea of, yeah, you definitely should be in there. In fact, actually, let's go ahead and like, if this doesn't happen, then let's call his manager and work this out. And they're having buddy. And then all of a sudden, Adam Pearce steps out, sees what's going on,
and dips.
He very much did like the Abe Simpson, like walked in, walked out. Great moment.
Well, and go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and then at the end of it, they're having this great back and forth, having this amazing chemistry, which they have amazing chemistry.
They
together.
do.
This is
they do.
Such a great pairing. And then they just notice that Saxon's still there and like, hey, why are you here listening to our personal conversation? Like we didn't start this with an interview.
I messaged you when this happened, and I'm like, this is a throwback to Coach when everybody used to make fun of Jonathan Coachman for doing his job. But how much? First of all, how much The Rock abuse him? But just in general, he'd be there and people would be like, "Why are you here?"
Yeah,
So I that to me, I was like, that whole thing, that whole segment was perfect. Was perfectly done.
absolutely wonderful segment. That did lead us to the match, though. Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair against Carmella with Chelsea Green in on the side with her because she asked her, "Hey, why don't you go ahead and come to the ring with me and stand out there with me?" Um, they've got great chemistry together. If they're going to come out together more, they need to work on that entrance a little bit, just because it seemed disjointed.
Yes.
You got Carmella still doing her normal shtick, and Chelsea's just kind of like, "Yeah, I'm here."
Yeah.
You can work on
They'll
that a little
iron
bit.
that out. That's
Yeah. Green was blatantly distracting the referee, kind of throughout the match and
she
trying to
was
help
so
out.
good.
Um, so Carmella tried to catch Belair off guard using a cradle with her feet on the rope, but Belair kicked out and then hit the KOD for the pinfall. The heels after the match attacked Belair post match, but stopped upon hearing Asuka's music. Asuka came out looking freaking phenomenal. Um,
That
so
was
she's
just
standing
so
in the ring.
gorgeous.
Carmella and Green are both standing there. Green's kind of in the front. She went to spit to the
No,
mist.
Carmella was in front.
Carmella? I
Yeah,
thought it was
because
the other way around.
no, because Chelsea
Oh no, you're right. You're right.
Chelsea took
Chelsea's
it.
the one that got it. Yeah. So she blew the mist. Missed. Carmella ducked out. Green got hit in the face. She's on the
Sold
ground.
sold
Sold the shit out
the
of it.
shit out of it.
Yep. And then talked about it on Twitter later too.
Did she?
Yeah. They what was it? Uh, they said Asuka came out to even the odds against both of them, and she replied back to or retweeted it, replied to the tweet, excuse me, saying, "Yeah, she came out to even odds with Mist, a foreign object." This video right now. Uh,
He's so
she's great.
good.
I love Chelsea. The crowd chanted for Asuka, and she stared. Her and Belair stared off a little bit.
So, so speaking of, I just looked up her Twitter. 49 minutes ago, WWE Australia posted two different pictures from Monday Night Raw. Chelsea quote tweeted it and was like, delete this. How many times do I have to say it? Ah,
Uh,
her,
it
her
it
Twitter
it
game is strong,
it almost makes me not want Cardona to come in, just
right?
because it's going to disrupt that, and I just want her to continue being
Ah,
Karen and Chelsea. Um,
that's so good.
uh, Zayn found Owens in the back. Zayn's telling him that the bloodline was too much for them as individuals. He said it's not a ploy or anything. I understand that we can't be okay right now. We're not going to be best friends right now. We're not going to be partners right now. I get that, but we need to work together to do this. I know because I was in the bloodline, in which case KO cuts him off and goes, I know. We were in the same building not too long ago, and you chose them
Yep,
over me,
yep,
and y'all beat me down.
yep.
So very much saying, I know that they're dangerous, and I know you were there because I did it. Uh, Owens made it clear, I don't want to do this with you. Owens suggested that Zayn go back to Roman Reigns. That maybe you should go back to him. Maybe you should beg him for forgiveness. I'm sure he'll take you back. Um, Either way, Owens didn't care what Zayn did and told him to.
Like I said, whenever that happens, that they team up,
Oh, it's gonna be massive.
uh, it's gonna be massive and it's gonna be emotional. Because at some point, Kevin's gonna have that moment of, this is the X number of time he's bailed me out. Maybe he's got a point. And I don't even care if they do it and then at Mania, once the match is over, he stuns Sami. I don't care.
It pulls a Stone Cold DTA. Don't trust.
Yes. But I like I said, this whole start to finish, best wrestling storyline ever.
There was a Rhea Ripley video package. Wonderful
Stunning.
package. Yeah, just seeing her on TV in general is a great thing. We're in the second hour, Miz TV segment. Seth Rollins and Logan Paul finally go face to face. Miz comes out, he rambles for a bit. He's basically just saying, like, I'm doing this because I feel like I need to be a mediator for this since I'm the host of WrestleMania and yada yada yada. Um, so he announces Logan Paul. Logan Paul comes out. He goes to like embrace him, shake his hand or something. Paul walks right
He
past
stuck
him.
his hand out to shake his hand.
Paul just walks right past him. I like the fact that they're finally letting him just be a dick and a heel. But I also like the fact that he's also not buddying up to other heels. I've always hated that in situations
Right.
of, well, just because I'm a face, I have to get along with all the faces, or just because I'm a heel, I have to
No,
get
you
along
don't.
with all the heels. No,
I,
I hate that bastard.
I messaged you when this was going on, and I'm like, he is such a great heel.
Yeah, he's good. It hurts me that he's such a trash human. That I'm enjoying something he's doing, but I guess I got to have that separation of character person.
This is one of those
Um,
times, unlike another situation, where separating the person, and I'm fine
yeah.
with this.
Um, so Rollins comes out. Obviously, the crowd is loudly singing Rollins' music as normal. Miz tells him to stop. He does the hand gimmick.
Which
What's
is
this
fucking
mean? What's this
great.
mean?
I fucking love
Yeah,
that.
that'll never get old to me.
No, it won't.
What's this?
It
When my
won't.
hand goes up, your mouth goes shut.
It's like he's talking to kindergartners.
Uh, Rollins encouraged them to continue, so they did. Paul told them that their segment had a time limit, so they needed to shut up. Rollins mockingly introduced Paul, who got Logan sucks chance. Rollins then introduced himself to Paul, and Paul said he knew exactly who he was. Paul said Rollins was the guy who he dumped at the Royal Rumble, and whose head he stomped at the Elimination Chamber. Paul wondered what Rollins' problem was. Perhaps it was because Paul was as good as Rollins in 1 year when it took Rollins 20 years. Uh, you're talking a little bit out of your league there, kid.
I'm all for being a little braggadocious because you have had some incredible matches
Mhm.
in the short time you've been here. I will give you all of the props in the world for what you've done. I'm gonna need you to pump the brakes.
Yep.
You cannot
Um,
carry Seth Rollins' bag.
Paul said he worked smarter, not harder, and he was on his way in while Rollins is on his way out. Paul said he would hate him too if he was Rollins. And then the crowd started chanting "F you, Logan," which this was the first time it happened tonight, and I hate that. Stop bleeping the dang crowd. Stop it. Talk to USA, talk to Fox, and just like,
This is gonna
it's
happen. Just
crowd.
accept
Yeah,
it.
it's crowd noise. So, I mean, there's got to be some get around for that because they cannot determine what the crowd's saying or what the crowd's doing when it comes to profanity. Um, Rollins said Paul forgot something, that he was the scum of the earth. Paul was a coward, a troll, a fraud, a human dumpster fire. Rollins told him, "We don't want you in our house." Also said he didn't come here to talk. He came here to get his pound of flesh. Rollins got ready to fight, but Paul turned him down. Paul didn't fight for free, and certainly not in Boston. He wanted a bigger stage. The Miz, as the host of WrestleMania, he said he might be able to make the match between them. Rollins sarcastically asked if that was true and chucked him out of the ring to, to go make it happen. Paul kicked Rollins, then tried a stomp, but Rollins tackled him. Miz attacked Rollins from behind, so Rollins super kicked him. This distraction allowed Paul to drop Rollins, the right hand. I got to give him credit. That working right hand, pretty solid.
Okay, first of all, it's smooth. Like all the way through. It is a smooth shot, and credit to Rollins for selling the shit out of it.
Yeah,
But because he laid there, he didn't move.
yeah.
So, but no, the how fluid that whole thing was, that whole him coming out of the corner and taking the swing, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, it
Like you
looked
kind
really
of
good.
it to an extent. I really was a little concerned to hit him.
Yeah.
That's how good it
It
was.
Now here's the thing. I don't want to hype it up too much. However, it reminds me a lot of when Tyson came in, because there's been a lot of interviews of Sean saying like he was afraid he was going to get hit, and he was like, "You didn't feel anything but the wind."
Yeah.
Tyson was so good at it
Yeah.
that he made it look so amazing and so quick and so devastating. Didn't even touch him. Amazing. Uh, Paul told Rollins to let him know about Mania after he wakes up. Paul then ended it with the same line Rollins used last week of "Bye bye, bitch."
That was great.
Yeah, Paul was really good in this instance. Like he's definitely doing well. He's paving his own way. I much of a trash human as he is, he's doing really good in the ring. I'll give him that credit. Earlier today, Mustafa Ali was being annoying to Dolph Ziggler and let him know that he got him a match tonight, but not against Ali, like he wants against Omos. Ali was in the crowd for the match, acting like a fan and holding up a "We Love Ziggler" sign.
He interrupted his autograph signing. That shit was so good.
Yeah. So we have Omos with MVP going against Dolph Ziggler. This went about as what you'd expect it to do. Omos squashed Dolph
I,
Ziggler. I don't either. It's definitely, I understand why you did it, because we got to make him look like a serious threat to Lesnar.
if you give me Ollie Ziggler at Mania, I might be a little pissed about it. This is not a. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is not a Mania level match. You want to put on the pre-show? Okay, cool.
There we go.
You want to put it on SmackDown the night before or Raw the Monday before? Cool. This is not a Mania worthy feud or match.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. The match itself is going to be fucking great.
Yep.
But this is not a Mania level thing. It's just not.
Yep. Speaking of things that are not worthy for WrestleMania, we had a Baron Corbin segment next. We have Maxine Dupree and the Maximum Male models backstage. They're fawning over someone off camera. They talk about how the muscles are glistening and how defined he looks. And then Baron Corbin shows up and thought they were talking about him.
Keep
They're
going.
like,
I'll be right
"What?"
back.
Okay. And they were like, "No, not you. We're not talking about you." He said he appreciates the kind words. He's had a lot of bad luck lately. He goes through his list of problems of lost matches, and he lost his mentor, and now he's just kind of at a loss himself. And so they say it had nothing to do with him, and they were talking about that work of art over there, talking about Otis, who was back there doing poses with Chad Gable, which apparently Chad is now taking lessons from Otis, or now Otis, soon to be, of how to look good. Mansoor said hair. So Corbin wondered, what Otis had that he didn't. Mansoor then says, "Well, hair for one."
That line, the way he said that line too, he would just
Yeah.
that was so demeaning and it was so perfect.
Yep. Dupree said she'd consider taking Corbin on as a client if she could get rid of Gable. Corbin happily accepted that. It's a little weird how we've about faced with Mansoor and Ase, because originally it seemed like they didn't want Otis in this. They seemed a little more
but
about it this week.
we're a couple of weeks into this. It's that whole she's convinced him it's a good thing.
Yeah. I would like to have seen some of that.
I agree. Like
of
those
her
online
convincing
things,
that.
like the YouTube things and so on, would have been
Yeah.
perfect for it.
Exactly.
I personally am a big fan of Otis joining them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be fucking hilarious.
It gets him back to what he's good at. He's good at the comedy stuff.
He's good in the ring. I will give this man all the credit in the world. But
well, it's just like a great example is we have Bronson Reed, right? So Bronson Reed is a monster.
Yeah.
I can't see Otis as that.
I can't take him seriously.
Otis is as big, he's as strong, he is as devastating, but it's just his personality itself. Like when he talks, he sounds like a cartoon character.
Yeah. Like Mater came to life.
Get her done.
Look, I'm just saying.
The one little, oh yeah.
But that's the point, though. Do you realize how hard it would be to make anybody take him seriously?
It would be a hard road. It would literally, you have to take him off of television and have him come back months later and just waylay like everybody in an elimination chamber.
Do it that or do a there's a 4-man match in there and it's some not like mid Carter like Johnny Wrestling and Corbin and somebody 2 others, and he comes in and just blows through everybody and then just walks off.
Yeah, something. But yeah, no, it gets him back to what he's supposed to do. Then it frees up Chad to be as good as he is. Obviously, we've seen reports before that Cody has a lot of desire to see him succeed. So maybe that's to push him in the right direction. You and I have talked about like putting him with the Creed brothers, having that be a thing. Maybe put him with Steiner, something to kind of build him back up, because we had him running for a little while and then we called him Shorty G. Then we finally got rid of that and did the Alpha Academy thing, and then that's now become a comedy gimmick. Give me a badass little wrestler.
I personally think that when Cody wins at Mania, it may not be a whole feud. Gable's getting a title shot.
I'm sure he would. The thing is, I see Cody giving this very much like the US title treatment of every once in a while he's just going to give someone a shot.
And that'll be so perfect. Like,
well, after, a couple of years now of seeing Roman every other pay-per-view, which nothing against him. Like, he's been working his ass off.
Yes.
Like, I'll give him all the credit in the world, but
this has easily been the best run of his career, but you got a point.
Yeah, we haven't seen the title a lot. So between him and Lesnar kind of going back and forth with it, and then he gets it finally, and then now it's just like only the big four is what he's going to go to, and then show up on SmackDown and just talk for a couple of minutes, and then it'll be good to get someone that's actually going to say, "All right, no, this is Raw, and you want a shot, you got it. Let's do this."
Random side note, because it just popped in my head. Did you see that they announced a pay-per-view in Mexico?
I did not.
Yeah. Backlash?
Okay.
Yeah, they're doing one in I'm like, okay, we're really spreading these out.
We need to get Escobar up the card.
Yes.
Because that'll go big there.
I'll see if I can find the exact show and
find that and send it to me. Definitely talk about it. We're backstage again with Heyman. He's hyping up Jimmy Uso. He was confident that Jimmy would be the one to take out Sami Zayn, so Reigns wouldn't have to hear the name Sami again. Heyman didn't let Jimmy forget that it was still his duty to bring Jay back to the bloodline by Friday. Next, we have Johnny Gargano with Dexter Lumis going against Finn Balor with Rhea Ripley. It was a good little match. We had a nice little moment between Dexter and Rhea, which I found really kind of fun. So Dexter's sitting there staring her down, and she just kind of gets up on the ring steps and stares him down too, and just kind of waving at him creepily. I also had a nice little fun Twitter exchange after the show. He drew a doodle of himself. Just he posted on Twitter, tagged her, and said, "Do you like pictures?" She just said, "Yes, I do." I didn't hear that.
Sorry, this was Dexter and who?
Dexter and Rhea. It's just fun. Two creepy people being creepy.
I love Rhea. I don't care what you do with her. I'm here for it.
Yeah. This led to Edge, though. His music hit. Priest and Rhea went to the stage to try to cut him off. You have Balor up top. He's trying to go for the coup de grace. He distracted him enough that Gargano was able to watch Edge push Balor off and then hit the final beat.
I found it. It's Backlash. It's in Puerto Rico. I apologize. Okay. I was incorrect in the location. And it's hosted by Bad Bunny.
That's a good call.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, if this was a few years ago, I'd say probably Pitbull would be better. But I mean, you got this deal going on with Bad Bunny right now. Plus, he's in the new video game, which is coming out next week.
I'm sorry, put him back in the ring too, because that shit was impressive as fuck.
Absolutely.
That square was so pretty.
Speaking of which, little programming note. Game is coming out Tuesday for me.
Okay. So what you're saying is
So
we're gonna have about a week of no shows because you're gonna be too busy playing that.
no, the exact opposite. However, my favorite mode of the game that came out last year, GM mode.
Okay.
All I could think was how fun it would be for you and I to play GM mode together. So I am not going to play GM mode till we have time to record. We will record a GM mode.
How long does that take?
Depends on how long you do it. If it's the same timeline, because the only thing I haven't seen on there, I've seen the added to it. I've seen
Right.
basic run through of to the first pay per view.
Right.
In the 2020 in the 22 model,
Mhm.
you're able to change how long it is. First one's like 15 weeks, so it'd be 15 shows that you all the way up to 50 weeks to get you to WrestleMania.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So, um, if I remember right, so like if you did the 15, it's 15 pay-per-views behind WrestleMania. So you still end in WrestleMania, but that's a lot shorter stint to get there. So if you think about it, that's 15 episodes if we did one an episode. Not too bad.
No,
Um
it'd be entertaining
and
too.
and you know, we can
We could do
simulate
this.
matches if
We
we
could
want to or what.
do this live on TikTok.
We could.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. Record it and do it live there. That's not a bad idea. Anyway, so Priest tried to go after Edge, but Loomis knocked him down. Edge hit Balor with a spear and let him know this isn't over. The crowd was a little quiet for the match overall, but I think I don't think they've warmed up to Gargano quite yet. So in case you well, no, you did watch it because you were
Yes.
watching it too. So
Yes.
the reaction he got coming back to NXT versus the reaction he gets coming out to the live crowd at Raw, massive disparity. To his love from the NXT audience is massive.
Look,
It just has not transferred over yet.
you could leave Johnny and Candice in NXT for the remainder of their career, and it'd be the best thing that ever happened to both of them. Candice
I
is
don't disagree with that.
beloved in NXT, just like Johnny is. That pop was huge.
Yeah,
By NXT
that's
fans.
one of those things too. Like, so I like NXT, I really do. There are some matches, there's some people there though that I don't see as main roster talent.
Gotcha.
I don't see a way for them to get there. Like we have Axiom. I don't see that
It's not going to
working on the main
translate at all.
roster. I don't see Schism working main roster. It to me that's too close to Wyatt family.
Well, I was
Too
going
close
to
to
say,
Judgment
I
Day.
can see it working if they were to put them with Bray.
Yeah, but that's too much spooky. If you don't like that's and who there was one specifically we were talking about. I think it was who was facing Joe Gacy pay per view. It was Chase U. There we go.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So like that's another
That's
one.
not going to
I don't
translate
see
at
that
all either.
working. So I think it's fine if you have some stalwarts, some people that stay on NXT. And I don't disagree with you that Johnny's perfect for
Leave
that.
him there. When you need somebody to carry the title, put it on Johnny. When you have somebody else that needs that rub, Johnny drops the title to him. Like, look at the matches. If you go back through NXT history, from the first pay-per-view, which was the main event, I think was Bo Dallas and Neville in a ladder match. That shit was crazy. It was so good.
Yep.
To now, I will pick a Johnny match that beats anything you can find.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
The matches for NXT, and there is that lull a little bit, like right after NXT 2.0 became a thing.
The
Now it's kind
changeover
of
is
gone
so-
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of gone back up now. It's a little bit more to say it like Daddy Magic, sports entertainer. It's a little more of that now. But
Please never do
they
that
still
again.
have no.
That was so bad.
Never mind. I was gonna go further with it. I'm just gonna leave it alone. So But the matches now are good. Like
Yes, yes.
they're getting back to takeover level
Well,
uh,
it's like I
matches.
said last night. I haven't watched an episode of NXT in forever. That one kind of pulled me back in.
Yep.
I
Well, and that so brag on NXT and a little more hate for AEW. So comics come for me. Go ahead. Um, so it was an NXT show, but it was called NXT Roadblock. One show that they gave a fancy name to lead us to a pay per view. It's not every other show called Winter is Coming or
might
Summer is
be hurt or
Blowing or
whatever the fuck
whatever
they're
it is.
calling it next week.
Fear for the Fallen, Faith for the Fallen, Fallen on my sword. I don't care. Whatever it is.
AEW, I stubbed my big toe. Dynamite, I don't know, but that's what it feels like at this point with those. But that's a whole different
Yeah.
conversation. I just
And
the show itself.
until we get AEW Rampage issue or Rampage special, one of the two. Then that's just the entire night is just we didn't book anything.
Right. We
People
should do
interrupting each
Rampage
other
specials all
backstage.
night. Like I said, it was just a good show. And
Yeah.
bringing Johnny, first of all, bringing Johnny back for the Waller thing is perfect. And this could be a whole separate recording conversation anyway. But leave Johnny there. Just leave him there. It's a lighter schedule. It's where he wants to be. He loves NXT.
Well, and here's the thing, and no one says like I've always thought this should have more integration between NXT and the main roster. Anyway,
I agree.
he can be a pull cord for emergency. You need someone to come in and be a partner for Dolph Ziggler because Ali got a partner and he needs somebody to come
Bring up
help even
Johnny.
the odds. Bring up Johnny, have him come there for about a month and a half, and then go right back down.
You can send Dexter back to NXT with him too. Because Indy's still there.
Yep.
And if we get Index, everybody's happy.
Have you seen Indy's recent Twitter?
No.
So Indy's in the game.
Okay.
Looks phenomenal in the game.
Nice.
Is wearing her red gear. I want to say
I
it was
saw.
from
Okay, I did
pay-per-views.
see. No, I did see it.
You did see
I
it?
saw that tweet, and I'm like, ma'am.
For those that are not initiated, you should go look at Indy's Twitter because she sees a picture of herself and she goes, "Great, that's amazing! It's my red gear. I love it. I can't wait to play with myself." And then a few minutes later, she tweets, "Wait a minute."
I saw that, and I'm like, the sad part is when she said it, it was probably completely innocent. That it didn't even cross her mind. And then she went, oh, shit.
Yeah, but you can't edit tweets unless you have Twitter Blue.
Well, and other wrestlers chimed in on it too. That was part of the fun.
Yeah.
Is other wrestlers commenting on it. I was like,
it
that's so
was
good.
great.
So anyway, back to where we were.
Yeah. There was a video recap of the Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns segment from SmackDown. Since we didn't do a SmackDown review, just to talk about that real quick, it was a great segment. Basically, it almost seems like there's a mutual respect at this point because they kind of ended shaking hands. But the whole idea is still kind of digging to the "you're the son he had, I'm the son he wanted." And so Cody is basically like, all right, well, at this point, then it's on. It's personal. No longer just about this title. Like we're gonna take care of this.
This match has so much potential. I'm a little concerned about letdown. Just a little. I'm concerned that they've built this up so much that nothing they can do in the ring is going to get there.
So I see your concern. I'd rebuke it with this. The last match that Roman had that had that build up and let down, him and Taker, that I can remember. Because we expected this massive thing. Taker was not up to snuff of what he usually is, so we didn't really get like him versus Taker. We got him versus old Taker.
And we knew Roman was winning that.
Right. So Roman, I don't think has ever had a bad match if he has someone who's willing to have a great match with him. And this man fought in Hell in a Cell with a torn ass pec and
Literally
let
that is
Seth
an
Rollins
image
beat the
I will
shit out of him.
never forget. He
And
took
Seth
that
Rollins beat
coat
the
off,
shit out of him.
and hearing the crowd's collective "Oh my God" gasp.
I was still watching that match the entire match, waiting to see if any of that rubbed off. Like, come on, that's got to be makeup, right? It's got to be fake. There's no way that he's out there with that massive bruise all over his chest and getting jabbed with a kendo
You heard
stick.
the question he asked about it, right?
Yeah.
Can
Could
I
it,
do
could
any
it
more
get
damage?
worse?
No. Well, then I'm going.
I'm doing it.
Bro.
So I think because of that, there's no way this left us. Because Roman will go out there and give it his all.
That's a fair point.
Cody could lose a leg on the way to the ring. And he'd be like, all right, let's do it.
I need there to be no shenanigans in this match. This needs to be straight up, one-on-one, no interference, no interrupting, not the Usos come out and Sami. No. I need this straight up, one-on-one. This is Michael and LeBron one-on-one. This is what this is.
Yeah.
And Cody is Michael and Roman is LeBron. Like this is a one-on-one matchup. I'll honestly say that a year ago I didn't know I wanted.
Well, and so like even just to bring it into wrestling terms, like to me, this is Hogan Flair when they were in their prime, because you have Roman, who's very much the Hogan.
I got you one better. Steamboat Savage.
I see where you're coming from there. Let me explain why I say it this way.
Okay.
Okay. So Hogan was the leader of the biggest company in the world. He was the mainstay. He's the one that if anybody got asked, do you know about wrestling? And they would go, and that thing that Hogan does, right? Flair was the underground. He was WCW. He was only people that knew that he was the best.
NWA into WCW. Okay. Yeah. No, I got you.
And so,
You're right.
So Cody coming in AEW, I agree with you. And it's not something we ever thought.
And mentioning that on Friday with that line of me and my buddies selling out a 10,000 seat arena. Sir, did you just mention sold all out? Like what?
And here's the thing.
It got a good pop too.
It did. I love when they bring up things that they could take pot shots at, and they didn't.
They didn't need to.
He kind of just pulled his own thing of going like, look, like we weren't used to selling out those things because me and my boys, we sold out a 10,000 seat arena. And he was talking about the fact that like Mania's going to be huge. Like he hasn't done that. He hasn't main evented something that big. But he did it without taking a pot shot. No one talked about that pissant company. Nobody talked about like it was just.
I still cringe at that line. It was a Vince line. It's 100% a Vince line because you know as well as I do, Hunter respects what they're doing and the fact that people are working.
Yep, absolutely. Difference between being the boys and being the promoter.
Yes.
But yeah, it's going to be such a good match. It's
like I said, I just need a clean one-on-one match. Don't. I don't want to, and I hate to say this, I don't want a dusty finish. I don't want this to get Russo'd. None of that. Let them go out there and do what they do. And I guarantee this will be match of the year.
Yeah, guaranteed.
If it's done right, this will be match of the year.
Yeah.
Until we can make Ospreay again, and then you can't beat that.
Like you said, you worry about letdown. To me, the only thing I worry about is this is going to be the main event. This is going to be the night 2 main event. There's no way.
Absolutely.
I'm worried about fatigue at that because you've had 2 nights of WrestleMania leading up to this.
I understand that, but Cody's music wakes everybody up. I, it just
That's
is what
valid.
it is. Just for that one part where everybody's singing along. It's like
Hell,
fucking do this.
it woke up Sammy in that match.
I, that's what I'm saying. That
That's a good
music
point.
alone gets every. When we saw it at Raw and I heard it, I got hyped.
Oh, absolutely.
So I understand what you're saying. I definitely think they can bring that level up and keep it.
Um,
These are two of the most talented guys in the business. Roman has taken a lot of flack from me, especially because of some of the trash shit they did with him before. This character, one of the best ever.
yeah, because
He is another level right now, and he is killing it.
this character wouldn't say suffering succotash. Um,
I was so pissed with that shit.
bullshit.
That was so bad.
He just said what? Uh, anyway, Saxon caught up with Edge for an interview. Edge said he cost Balor a match. He never should have lost. No respect to Gargano, but no one expected him to win because Balor cost him the match. He never should have lost. Excuse me, because Balor cost him a match that he never should have lost against Austin Theory. Talk right, I'd be fine. Edge informed Balor that he would be alone in the ring next week and invited him to kind of man his. He also later, a different interview segment, did say, "I want a match with you."
He's sack checking. You've got to show up.
Yeah.
That or we're gonna start calling you tiny balls and Miz will be fine.
um, Next, we had a match that I didn't quite understand. We had Piper Niven against Nikki Cross.
It was the continuation of last week's Candice LeRae pivot Piper Niven match.
No, I know where it came from. I just don't understand the match.
I don't
Because
understand
again,
why we had it. It wasn't
we're
necessary.
forgetting that Piper Niven hung out with Nikki Cross for. We're just pretending that didn't happen. But no, she beat the brakes off of Nikki Cross. It was a 56-second match.
Stop it. They
Um,
followed that match? What the fuck?
yeah, Niven did have a busted lip at the end of the match. It was probably due to Nikki because at the very start of the match she was flailing on her back, just attacking her. So she probably got a good hit in. Rick Boogs trying to deadlift an 18-wheeler backstage. This man is going to try to lift something so much he's either going to pop a boner or pop a hemorrhoid. I'm not sure which. Then approached by Elias, though. Elias had more advice for Boogs. He asked him if he wrote down notes from last week, and he goes, basically, yeah, don't get beat that fast. However, he saw Bronson Reed in the back, and he demanded, hey, go ask him for a match. Boogs, being an idiot, went back there and said, hey, Elias wants you in a match. Bronson comes over and goes, so you want me in a match, huh? All right, I'll see you out there.
And Elias is looking at him like, the fuck?
And of course, Boogs comes over so he can explain what just happened, which is, said you wanted a match with him. Idiot, I said you should have a match with him.
I'm so done with this storyline already. I just, please stop it.
We had an announcement that Becky G will perform America the Beautiful on night 1 of WrestleMania. If it's not Lillian, I don't want it.
Thank you. Why are we not calling Lillian Garcia for this shit? Her voice is amazing. Follow her. I'm just saying.
For the first main event of the night, we have the John Cena and Austin Theory segment. Cena comes out, of course, gets the absolute adulation for everybody. Emotional response for Cena. Cena hit the ring, but Austin Theory entered before he could even say anything, before he even got a chance to say a word.
Cena looked a little choked up.
Probably was. Back in his hometown, back in the ring again.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, it was It was perfect. It was a perfect setting for it. Considering he hasn't been back in forever. He has said over and over again he wants to come back. He wanted that's his home. It's much like The Rock. Like as much
Yeah.
as The Rock goes off and does his things, he gets to come back. He's back home. So it's perfect setting for it. I would not be surprised if all if he was legitimately choked up. But we are in the ring. Fury said he remembered watching WWE with his mom. Now that was just in her basement 2 weeks ago. But no. Watching WWE with his mom and said Cena inspired him to become a WWE wrestler. Theory had a gift for Cena, something so big it would eclipse any movie role. Theory's gift was a United States title match with him at WrestleMania. Cena kind of looks around, plays with it a little bit, and says, "No."
Here's the thing. We all know they're not putting the title on Cena. They're not. There's no chance they're doing this. The only reason they might is because Fast and Furious 10 comes out in May and it's promotion. But it makes no sense.
So I'm gonna get into this, but before I do, I'm gonna say this. They are playing a very dangerous game with this promo.
Why?
So he explains why he doesn't want the match, and he says it's because we don't believe in you, because you don't believe in you. Goes on to talk about him basically being just the wannabe. He talks about himself being a ghost of Christmas future, and said that Theory was at the ruthless aggression phase of his career. But that phase of Cena's got him fired because he didn't believe in him. They're a pair of trunks away from being a jabroni. He said that his name was appropriate because that's exactly what you are, a theory. In theory, he should be great. In theory, he should be executive, what an executive would look for. In theory, everyone should be there to see him. Still, no one cared. Time.
And what has been my biggest it's like he just took everybody's complaints about Theory and laid them out for him
Oh yeah,
because
and
he's
and
right.
well, and he gets more right, and that's what I'm saying. We're playing a very dangerous game with this promo. Um, before we get to the spot that I'm talking about, so Theory responds, I'm not going anywhere. Just like your bald spot on your head ain't going nowhere." Cena lifted his hat and he's like, "Hey, I'm perfectly fine with the fact that I got a bald spot. I don't give a shit." Um, Theory pointed out that Cena's "Never Give Up" shirt and wondered if Cena was giving up. It was right what they say: never meet your heroes because they point. Cena told Theory he'd rather be going bald than give them a pipe in crowd noise because nobody cared about his matches. Cena called him a dumb son of a bitch. Didn't say no because he was giving up. He said no because he was trying to save Theory. Eddie, this is where I think we're getting touchy on this. He said if he wins, Theory would lose everything. If Theory won, he would still lose everything. If he won, beat John Cena, he's going to have to go out Monday Night Raw the next night in front of the most feverish crowd and hold his own. Not going to have Cena there to lean on. He's not going to have someone to bounce off of. He's going to have to hold his own in front of that crowd. Not ready. There is nothing but truth in this entire promo.
100%.
And if Cena doesn't win this match, Theory is either going to have to show. Yeah, Theory's going to have to show us something between now and WrestleMania that is going to make me believe that he can hold his own in front of a crowd, because he has yet to be able to do that. He had Daddy Vince, he had Bobby Lashley through the whole U.S. title thing. Now he has to lean on, try to get through this. At some point, you got to stand on your own.
Here's the thing. Because what is everybody's biggest complaint about Cena? He buried people. He literally buried Theory with this. But if Theory comes out and comments on this and says, so this is just like every other time you come back and you bring your golden shovel with you, and uses that to make it a bigger deal, it'll make sense. But he said everything I've been saying about Theory, and he's not wrong on any of it.
We end it with Cena's wishing him luck because he didn't have the brains, the guts, or the balls. Cena smacked him down low before leaving. And then I love when he just ad-libs little things because as he's about to step out there, he goes, whoa, hold on. You might need to work on what's down there. And then walks out. He goes up to the stage, said the fans deserve to see someone who did earn their WrestleMania moment. He introduced Cody Rhodes. They hugged.
Cool
Basic,
moment.
like,
very cool.
Yeah,
moment.
cool moment of like, hey, here's this guy. And what's really cool about that, in case I don't know if you knew this, but the entire time he was in AEW, he said he would call Cena.
Really?
Yeah, like to get his advice on stuff because he's like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? Because thing, Cena can get all the flack he wants. Cena's the biggest box office draw in a long ass time in WWE. He is the guy. So he's definitely a good guy to call and be like, hey.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. Him and Cena apparently become good friends. Now Cena's also become good friends with Vince. Take that or leave it. A little bit of Vince talk.
Just nope.
A little bit of Vince talk before we move on, just so we know. So apparently, though Vince was backstage, he was at Gorilla for this episode
for like the whole show.
First of all, sporting a mustache, which
it looks awful. That's a Chester. No, that's a Chomo. That's a Chomo mustache. Stop it.
Well, first of all, I find this funny because he has went on record saying he thinks that facial hair shows weakness. So what? Second of all, there are a lot of reports from Fightful of people that were backstage that said he looks like Gomez. So I giggled a little bit. However, though, I say that to say this though. Fightful Select has stated though that apparently all reports that they are seeing is that he wasn't running anything back. Like he was literally just kind of fly on the wall, waving at people, seeing people in Gorilla. Which here's the thing: if I own the company, I'm not going to go sit in an office in the back of the room. I'm going to sit in Gorilla like that. I don't blame him for that. Where the action is.
My concern is the slippery slope.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. I want to make sure to point that out because that was a big news thing because immediately we saw people getting pictures of him back in Gorilla and people freaking out about it. Everything I've heard is just there visiting.
I am to the point that if something happened and Vince took over creative, I'd have the same reaction as if they sold to the Saudis.
Be done.
Yeah. No. I cannot, after what he's done, first of all, and all of I understand he's a grown man. The women were grown. I get that. It doesn't change the fact that he abused his power. Plus, let's just be honest, Vince is racist as fuck. I saw a video, I pulled up TikTok, and the first thing that popped up was when Kofi was supposed to be signing that title match with Daniel Bryan, and Vince cut him off and basically said, you're not good enough. He did everything but say, I'm doing this because you're black. But that's what it was.
Well, I mean, he did also have a shtick for a while where he was ECW champion, saying the N-word in the back interviews. So
I just
because he had a do-rag on, so he's got to sound street now.
Yeah, I just if Vince comes back in any way to the product, I'm done. I'm good.
Yeah,
because it's gonna go to shit immediately.
Yeah. We might be moving to just TikTok.
Right.
If that's the case. Because I'm not sure I want to watch AEW anymore either, to be honest. But anyway, Kathy Kelly interviewed Zayn. Zayn noted that Jimmy Uso was the one who always had his back. Now he's the one who's tasked to end him. Zayn looked at the camera and warned his dog that tonight would be not his night. Then we get with the Chad Gable versus Baron Corbin with Otis. Corbin was bragging, so Gable picked his ankle and applied an ankle lock for the submission win almost immediately. The crowd chanted, "We want Otis" earlier in the match. Corey Graves mentioned that this is the end of Gable's losing skid. So, because he's been losing.
Yeah.
So, next was a spot that had a lot of contention between you and me, because this is the Top Gun spoof.
That was horrible. It's so bad. It's so bad.
We disagree on this. I was laughing my ass off the entire spot, and I get this text from Tori saying, "God, that was horrible." No, that was amazing. That was great.
I
loved it.
No, especially that. Talk to me, Goose. Stop it. It was
okay. So
the whole thing was cringeworthy.
I will give you that. The ending with the "Talk to me, Goose." That was
Goose. Stop it.
That was a bit over the line, but the rest of it was great.
No, it wasn't. It was not great. It wasn't even decent.
I disagree. Those two wholesome married people did an amazing job. Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul was made official for Mania. We had a little segment that said that. And then we have a Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus segment. I'm just going to go on record. I think Trish is going to turn on them right now.
Ooh.
He seems very disinterested in the ring.
No,
and Trish is way too good for that.
I think Trish wants a piece of Bailey. And with that fat ass, I don't blame her. Look, we can all appreciate the beauty that is Bailey's ass. Chest kiss. But how are we going to bring the tag titles into this?
Maybe winner wins all.
I don't. But if we were just doing a tag team match, that would make more sense. But is it one of those that if anybody from the Becky team loses, Io and Dakota get their titles back? What incentive is there for Bailey?
Maybe if Bailey, maybe that's the thing. Maybe Bailey gets the pin, and so that's where dissension starts happening in Damage Control. I've got the title.
Maybe.
To get through this real quick, though, Lynch and Lita entered with their tag team title belts, and they spoke about their title win. Lita said Io Sky and Dakota Kai didn't make it easy, but it was worth it. Lita thanked Lynch for giving her the opportunity to fight for the belts. Lita had one more person that she wanted to thank. Called out Trish Stratus. Trish looking amazing, getting amazing pop. Stratus said she would always have Lita's back and was happy to see her and Lynch beat Damage Control. Stratus recalled warning Bailey months ago in Toronto, which good callback to that. Damage Control interrupted. Bailey said Lita and Trish were the reasons they were wrestlers, but Damage Control could also be the reasons they never wrestled again. Stratus challenged them to a 6-woman match at WrestleMania, and Bailey quickly accepted, which Sky and Kai seemed very surprised about. I don't know if that was legit, and then they went into the next thing, because they played it off really well. Of either it was just a swerve to get them to be able to get the jump on them.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah. The only thing that makes me think otherwise is just because that same reaction is what happened when Bailey accepted the tag title match in the first. Like Bailey's constantly putting them in.
So maybe we're looking at this wrong. The Trish turning on them makes I'm a little intrigued by that thought. What if we go farther with the double swerve and the Io and Dakota turn on Bailey and leave with Trish?
Ooh. Call them Stratisfaction.
Ooh, that's a great name.
Good with that. Fair enough. Um, either way, though, they seem surprised. They turned around. They attacked the baby faces, but were sent out of the ring. Bailey tried to attack Lynch, but got rid of her. They went to
I will
break. They plugged
say
NXT.
Trish pulled up for that chick kick, and that, oh my god, it still looks so pretty.
Yeah, she's so smooth with it. Definitely hasn't seemed to lose a step, at least in the presentation. Obviously, we still got to
Right.
see the ring, see how she goes there, but just in the basic beats, been wonderful. We're at the Sami Zayn against Jimmy Uso match. They went to break, plugged NXT, did the entrances, and went back to break again. 40 seconds into the match, um, so it seemed like they just kind of had to hurry up and get some commercials in, get past that real quick.
I think they want to get the commercials done because the match itself and then what happened
And-
after was way more important.
yeah. Um, so uh, after the early break, Zayn booted Jimmy, hit a tornado DDT2. Jimmy tossed Zayn from the ring and tried distracting the ref, but the ref caught Sikoa setting up for the smoke spike, so he ejected him from ringside. So now we just have Jimmy versus Zayn. I'm not going to go beat for beat through the rest of it. It was a great match. Go see it. Um, but we end up in the end of the match here when they returned from another cutaway. Zayn came off the top rope, but Jimmy caught him with a super kick. The fans began cheering because they noticed Jimmy Uso in the crowd. Jay ran down and climbed onto the announce table, started hyping up Jimmy. And so Jimmy sees him. He's hyping him up for it. He seems encouraged by what Jay's doing, but the distraction allowed Zayn to roll him up for the pinfall win. Zayn was elated with the win while Jimmy was distraught. This is where Shakespeare happens. This is Hamlet. This is
I'm gonna
Romeo and
lay out
Juliet.
and let you do this because we both agree on how well this was done, and I feel like we're gonna say the same thing. So I'm gonna lay out and let you have this one.
All right. So Jay enters the ring, and even just him entering the ring, very deliberate. It's very slow. Got very stoic, upset look, but like that, the look doesn't change. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't. The same look. Gets in the ring, comes up to Jimmy, grabs him by the shirt. He's just keeping him at arm's length, staring at him. He grabs on his shirt a little bit harder. It almost looks like he's like about to rip off the shirt, but he doesn't. He kind of pounds him on the chest a little bit. Um, just I don't like. There's so much emotion build up. He doesn't know what to do with it. So then he lets him go, and he walks out of the ring, slides out, gets out there with Sami. He's staring Sami face to face. Silence, nothing. And then he looks at him and goes, I trust you. I trust you. And then he hugs Sami. And the camera caught Sami's face. And I'm, again, I love Kevin Dunn for what he can do with the camera. Maybe slightly a trash human being, but what he does with the camera is so amazing because he caught this look. It was this look of like Sami was so confused at what's going on. Then there was a moment of him accepting. And he hugs Jimmy back, or hugs Jay back, excuse me.
I'm gonna say this. I kind of wonder if when they put this together, they kept Jimmy and Jay in the or Sammy and Jimmy in the dark because both of them looked stunned
Yeah.
by everything that happened.
It'd be a nice touch if they did, if they kept him in the dark. However, I mean, I have to say, all parties involved have been amazing actors through this entire thing. So they could have pulled this off with knowing everything. But that would here's the thing, just for the fun of it, that would have been a nice touch. If they just know Jay's coming and they say Jay's gonna call this, he gets out there. So then we see what happens. So they're hugging, crowds chanting Usi. Crowd starts chanting holy shit," which is the second time now. Start bleeping out shit, and again, all right, maybe for the "F you" chants. "F you, Logan." Okay, maybe. Okay, I get it. It's the F word. That's the big one. You got to bleep that one out. Holy shit! You've been having fecal chants forever in WWE. Let that go, because that to me, it took me out of it for a
Especially
minute.
that late in the show.
Yeah, it's and that's the other thing. Like maybe do like have the I want to say it was like early Attitude Era before it really came off the rails. Like that was kind of what they did is like after 9 was like Raw After Dark.
The DX press conference. That's what it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. But like there was that moment of where like the first hour was kind of more family friendly, and the second
I
hour
agree.
that's when it got more raunchy. Maybe do that again. I don't know, but I digress. Let's get back to this wonderful piece of history that we have here. So they're hugging. They step away from each other. They both are looking at Jimmy, and all of a sudden, he just throws up one. Sami looks at him, still kind of confused, and he throws up the one. And then he starts pointing all of his attention towards Jimmy, telling Jimmy it's not too late. You can do this. We can take down Roman. We can do this. And Jay just takes the slightest step back to be slightly behind Sami and super kicks the shit out of him. And here's the thing. The super kick to me wasn't even the big thing. I have never seen a man grab another man by the beard and drag him into the ring. Because he just grabbed him by his beard, saying, you thought I'd pick you? You thought I would side with you? This is my family.
This, like, and we were talking, I saw the super kick coming.
Yeah.
Just because of how the distance between them.
Yes.
Because Sami didn't move a ton, but Jace kind of slid himself over. And I was like, oh, he gonna kick his head off, and he kicked his head off.
I'm gonna attribute this to a lot like the barbershop window. In hindsight, you look at it now and you see it coming. And in hindsight now, yeah, absolutely. I watch it back now and I go, yep, he was stepping back because he was getting that room. In that moment though, I was hooked. They got me 110%. That kick happened and I went, oh shit.
Did you hear the crowd reaction to that kick?
Oh yeah.
The heartbreak and disappointment.
Yeah, so I mean, you thought I would choose you. This is my family. He grabs him by his beard, throws him back in the ring, and he jumps on him and does the beat down. And then Jimmy pushes Jay off like they're fighting to see who's going to beat him down.
That beat down was on.
Yeah.
They beat him like you talked about their mama.
They did that. Then Sikoa came in, like he was going to join into the fray. However, at that point, Cody Rhodes' music hits. He's running down, and the bloodline back off as he checks on Zayn. One little detail that I didn't notice until I heard someone else say this. In one of the backstage segments, the Elias Boogs one, Sami is talking to KO in the back. So here's the thing, like I said at the very start of this recording, that I get a little concerned about what's going to happen between here and there. I don't want Cody in the middle of this. I get he's against Roman, head of the bloodline. This can be two different stories.
Have you seen the memes of him with the hat and the...
Yes.
So perfect. But I actually am, I'm okay with this. And I'm okay with this if they frame it in Cody knows he needs them taken care of to keep them from interfering with his match with Roman. And I'm okay if Cody's the mediator to get them on the same page for a purpose.
Yeah, if that's the end result, then I understand that, because kind of rewind back to what we were talking about earlier. That match, night 2, main event, It needs to be clean. No bloodline. There needs to be no Sami, Kevin. It needs to be clean. Those two dudes at it. So yeah, if it's Sami and Kevin have to get back together to take out the Usos and Solo, so it's just them. Okay. I'm afraid to link them too much into it because it's two different stories.
It is. It is. But at this point, those paths are going to intersect.
I know,
And
just to me, they should intersect the next night. Next night, they all three come out together. Hey, we did it. We beat the bloodline. We got rid of the bloodline.
yeah. Yeah.
I didn't want to see that cross yet.
I won't be shocked if either the Monday or Friday before Mania, we don't get a 6-man tag out of this.
And that's, yeah, I mean, I think that's, to me, that's the mediation that happens is, all right, all three of us, to prove that we can work together, to prove that we can do this, all three of us are going to face the Usos and Solo at the next Raw, SmackDown, whatever, between now and Mania.
Here's my thing. They've built Solo as a monster, and I don't have a problem with that. What I need them to do is these three take Solo out. A leg, an arm, a shoulder, something that neutralizes Solo.
Easy takeout for it. Wrap the chair around his head. KO does the cannonball.
I like it. I like it.
Because you're using his own crap against him.
And you do this post-match so it doesn't hurt him in terms of the in-ring stuff, but it takes him off the board for Mania.
Yes.
That way, when we have the Usos, KO, and Sami, it's clean. We have Roman and Cody, it's clean. Yes, we still have to deal with Paul Heyman. That's an understood involvement. Like, I don't have a problem with Paul as the manager out there trying to do some shenanigans that don't work. I'm good with that because you expect that. I don't want a bunch of people involved in this match that have nothing to do with this match. Paul being there makes 100% sense.
Yeah, Paul being there because he's the wise man. He's the he's the counsel to the head of the table. Makes perfect sense for him.
That promo with him and Cody puts him in the middle of this.
Yeah.
So Paul is fine. I don't consider Paul shenanigans.
No, because what'll happen is he'll try to get involved, and then Cody will get his one good shot in because of all the crap.
That, or he'll get caught and get run. One of the two.
I think Cody needs to have one good.
It'd be pretty solid.
You telling me that you're free to steal my wife from me? You're getting one good shot.
That's fair. But yeah, no, this beatdown on Sami, I understand what you're saying about Cody, but I'm here for it because, like I said, it's gonna they are two different paths. That's the bloodline storyline. Sami KO is one thing. Cody and Roman's a whole nother. But at Mania, they hit each other. In the build up to Mania, they're gonna hit each other. You don't have a choice.
Just
because of the players involved.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. That does bring an end to the Raw. It was good segments in it. I think it was a lot of filler and a lot of build up because as much as we've been looking forward to WrestleMania this entire time and had some good matches already booked, didn't have an entire 2 nights booked yet. So kind of filling that in now of what's going to be the rest of the card. Before we close it out, though, I did want to bring up at the beginning of the night, they had an announcement that there was going to be pay-per-view, King and Queen of the Ring in Saudi. I hate these people so much because you gave me a reason to want to watch this damn pay-per-view.
And I hate watching the Blood Money pay-per-views.
Yeah, I hate watching it, but it's King and Queen of the Ring.
It's King of the Ring. I'm sorry. I can't act like I haven't watched the Blood Money pay-per-views because I have Peacock. Like I paid my $5.
Yeah,
Whether I watch this or not, I've already paid my $5.
yeah. I mean,
Do
I,
I am not a fan of this agreement. I hope as soon as this runs out, Hunter's like, no, go fuck yourselves. Like, no, do not renew this shit. I know it's like a 10-year agreement, but
I'm curious what they're going to think of Monsuado if
what's
that
that
man wins
he
a
gonna
battle
wear in the
royal.
ring?
Anyway,
But yes, this is King of the Ring.
yeah.
This
I
is this is
will.
Austin 316. This
Yeah,
is Billy's the attempt to push Billy Gunn, King Booker. Like these are all things that have been amazing from King of the Ring. I hate you for doing it there, but I'm 100% in for it because it's King of the Ring.
well, and here's the thing: like, it's blood money. It's in hostile territory when it comes to women's wrestling. The fact that you're having the entire the women's Queen of the Ring tournament there, I'm kind of okay with that too, because you're kind of sticking it to them too, of going, you don't want to see our women, but you're gonna see our women.
I will also say I know different areas of Saudi Arabia kind of there's a little bit of they're a little more liberal. Not much because it's a pretty across the board thing, but
And that's something I've seen. So just in message boards, in comment sections, I've seen where people that's, of course, I can't validate that. I don't know who these people are, but they say that they're women from Saudi, and they're like, hey, no, the area that we're in, like, we are more progressive. We are very happy to see the women come here. We're very happy to see them wrestle. It lets our little girls see that there's something more you can do with your life, and that's all great. Like the disdain that I have for the pay per view is all about where the money comes from at the top. That's where it comes from.
1000%. I
If
1000% agree with you.
Yeah,
I love that we're putting talent from that area on these shows. I love that we got Mansois and he has done something that no one else from that area of the world has done. And I love that they are doing Queen of the Ring. I'm here for it. I'm 100% here for it. I'm like you. I hate where the money came from. I hate the entire hierarchy of how they do things is barbaric. Their human rights violations are, you can't pretend like they're not a thing.
right.
I like it. Yes, this is a little step. The problem is we're so far back that this little step isn't fixing anything. So I just, I hope to God that when this contract is up, they're like, nah, we're done. We're
Yeah,
out. We're not doing this. Um, you can go hump your camels. We don't give a fuck. We're not coming back.
I hate to tell you, but the penny pinchers that are on the board of directors aren't gonna let that shit happen. Uh,
I know.
Money's money. And when they're saying we'll give you a couple $1 billion to go do some pay per views over here, yeah,
Oh, no, I get it. I just personally hope that they're like, no, we can't be involved in this because of what we try to do here is completely wiped out by doing this.
So with all those things, like I am looking forward to the pay per view because the subject matter at hand. Um, I will say though, a bigger travesty was the announcement itself. Because how are you going to have that announcement of this thing and not show the current Queen and King of the Ring in the package?
Who is the king of the ring?
Xavier Woods is currently King of the
Mm,
Ring
mm.
and Queen
And
Zelina,
Zelina,
and they weren't in the package. How dare you?
but let's be honest, when they crown, I'm not, I am not taking anything away from Xavier. I adore Xavier Woods. That whole King of the Ring tournament was pretty shitty. Overall, let's just be honest. It was
So
not top tier talent.
it wasn't top tier talent. To me, it was the story. Because for those that know Woods, outside of just what he portrays on TV, people that have watched his Up Up Down Down, people that have heard him in interviews, he was never like a world title guy. He never wanted the world title. He never wanted the IC belt. He never wanted the tag. He wanted King of the Ring. He thought
That was
King
the
of the
one thing he
Ring
wanted.
was better than all of that because he's like, yeah, you've got a title, but I'm a damn king. I rule this shit. So I hope he's in this tournament, and I hope he wins it again.
Did we have live crowds when he won that?
If so,
I was thinking it was pandemic era. It was Thunderdome. He's had it for a while. It hasn't just been a year.
no, I don't know. Maybe I thought we had crowds though. If we didn't, then I mean, either way, he deserves to get
He needs to
get
win it
again.
again.
Yeah. Or at least like whoever wins it, he comes out and defends it. Like you beat all them, you didn't beat me. Another good thing for Woodsy though is on SmackDown this week, he's part of the Fatal 4-Way for the IC #1 contender. I know he's just there to take the pin, but by God, I wish he'd win that.
Who else is in it?
It is him, Drew.
Carrion?
I think so. I think Carrion's in.
Is it 4 or 5? I thought there was 5 people in it.
They're fine. Sheamus, Ricochet, Karrion Cross. Oh, that's old. That's the one that Ricochet won back in the day.
Hang on.
Because it's a 5-way. You're right.
Hang
Because
on.
he's
The match was originally Drew, Sheamus, LA Knight, Karrion, and Kofi.
Yeah.
But because Kofi's hurt, Xavier's taking his place.
Yeah. I'd love them.
Damn it.
To Woodsy.
Oh. Hell yes. Put the IC title on Woods. Those segments would be fire.
This is the only the second time he has ever been in contention for a title. He faced John Cena for the U.S. title back when he had the Open Challenge.
One time
he's had a shot. He did tweet out though, mentioning though, I have beat people when they were holding world titles.
I just saw that. He was like, I've beaten men while they held world and universal championships. I even won King of the Ring. Still no shot.
Yeah.
I hope he wins this.
Yeah, that would be a nice
Like, if
one of
you-
those nice little turnaround things. I mean, obviously, I think the rumor was that it's going to be Sheamus or Drew and Sheamus. So it'll probably be
I heard Drew and Sheamus.
some shenanigans where they both win it. It would be a great match. I'm not saying it would. It would be 3 big dudes beating the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
But you're in a situation now where Kofi's hurt, Big E's hurt. This is the perfect opportunity to push Woods because it's him. He's by himself.
Even if it's a here, hold this. He deserves, like, we could do a whole segment on this, but I hope that I don't think they're going to, but I hope it's Woods.
Yeah, it would be good for him to win that. But we'll see what happens. Maybe because I didn't think Kofi would win the world title at any point, and he won it at WrestleMania. So, we'll wait and see what happens. But that wraps up this episode of Kicking Out at 2. Thank you for your time, spending all your time with us. If you're enjoying our podcast, please support us, share this episode, share our channel, hit the like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Follow us and hit us up on the socials down below, including our TikTok, to catch all the latest from us. You can follow us on here, youtube.com at Kicking Out at 2. Thank you, Mick. Until next time, I am Michael, Tori, and on the next one. Bye.